In this presentation we're going to be having a look at the Palaso Reporting Library. It's got a global exception handler, so you can define an application-wide policy for how to handle exceptions. We've got the friendly green box that sends an exception report via email, and typically it would exit your application. We have its companion, the yellow box, that's used to send an internal error report, again via email. One thing with the email handling is on Windows we use MAPI, so that it uses the user's already installed email client. On Linux it doesn't have MAPI, but we use their installed email client as well. We use like Thunderbird or Evolution. Okay, another feature we have is one per session error handling. So you can just pop up a message box that's about an error, or we can pop up a message box relating to some error that you only want them to see once per session. And we say, for example, we use that for where you seem to have a problem with your Keyman install, but we're not going to bug you again about it. Some other features in the library that we won't go into in this particular demonstration is user registration dialog. We've got usage reporting, and you can define a policy on that, like report every time, every 5th time, every 10th use, that sort of thing. And again, it uses our email library to use the user's email client. And we have a basic logging library as well for logging events as your application executes, and this input winds up appearing in the exception reports. Right, on with the demo. Okay. The reporting library exists as part of the Palaso Library, and let's have a look first at what you get. Okay, this is a test app that we've got. Okay, we'll just start at the top. Here's a problem notification with once per session. So notice here, this message will not be shown again in the session. Okay, well, I'd like to see that again, but we can't. It's only showing once per session, so it's doing its job. Here's a problem notification with alternate button. Right, now we'll get into the real major part of the demo really. This is what we want to see is the yellow dialog. Here's what you get. Oh, an internal error has occurred. Okay, some invitations to type something. I just pressed the button, and here's some handy dandy information. You get all the typical attributes that you'd expect, like current username, the OS version, the version number of the software, and the output of the log as well. You can choose not to send the email or send it. So here's what happens when you send it. Oh, here we go. Thunderbird is trying to send it, and there we go. It's in my sent box. And similarly for the green box. Okay, this is an exception. Similar sort of details. Now if I email and exit, well, it's going to exit. It'll email just as it did before with the yellow box. Oh, we just exit without reporting, and we've exited. Okay, so how do you use this? Well, pretty straightforward really. We set up the email address for the error report. It's all on this error report, mainly static methods. Standard properties, that's what sets up the version, command line current directory, those properties that we had in the report. And we can see what triggered it, like for example this anonymously called button 3-click reports a fatal exception. And here's some of the methods there. Notify user of problem, and report fatal exception, a few different varieties of that. this property here is okay to interact with the user. That's used for testing. If you set that to false, it won't actually pop up a dialog, which is handy for our unit tests. Here's the exception handler. This is the global exception handler. Really just call in it, and it's a policy. It catches all unhandled exceptions. So if you don't handle it anywhere else, this is what's going to be called. So the way we tend to code is we don't catch any exceptions unless we're expecting them to occur and we can do something reasonably intelligent about them. Everything else is just left to the global exception handler, which by default pops up the green box. People email it in, go, oh, that wasn't expected. Then we decide it was either expected, and we will address that where it occurs in the code, or it is a real bug, and we'll fix the bug, and out goes fixed software.